This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word.
My sleeping lamb, guys, I absolutely love this pattern. So this is the pattern right here in chunky chenille using size 7. Brand is Loops and Threads. Fluffy chenille is called at Michael's. And I wanted to go and show this one right here because if you want to use regular chunky size 7, there you go, you can. And this is like the look of it. It'll come out as in. And the skin tone color is perfect phasing. Pretty much mimics Joanne's Burnett perfect phasing. But this tutorial is going to be on Crafted by Catherine. So here is the yarn Loops and Threads with the lamb that you see. I wanted to show a comparison right here of how chunky and plushy it is. So super chunky yarn versus regular chunky yarn. So I'm showing you this again because this is like a versatile pattern. You can use super bulky size 6 teddy bear fur yarn, or you can use regular chunky yarn or super thick chunky size 7 like Burnett Frosted at Michael's, or Loops and Threads Fluffy chenille at Michael's. So this is a beautiful skin tone color we're doing. It's perfect phasing. And this is Red Heart yarn size 4. I use it for the eyes. And then this little ribbon right here, this is what I use for the eyes also. So I'm kind of going through over the materials. This is a written pattern, but part of it will be video tutorial for just the body. And I want to go over the materials. So this is what I used for the eyes. A pink button nose from Amazon. And all the materials are in the PDF with direct links. But the golden ribbon, that is from Michael's. I got in person. So here is our yarn we're going to be using, Crafted by Catherine. And I want to go ahead and do a workshop post tutorial, I'm calling it, for our group. And I want to go and show how to finger knit with super bulky size 6 teddy bear fur yarn, it's called. And so I'm trying to find my other ending here, guys, in the middle of the skein. You always want to go for that ending right in the middle. And so now I'm going to shove all this back right up into the wrapping, trying to keep it neat here. So this skein I got kind of was a bad skein. I'm going to tell you why. Because the yarn was so twirled and twisted that's one problem you can deal with this brand yarn, that it tends to twist and twirl as you're knitting. And so it kind of makes it a little bit tough here. But it's a good skein to show you with the tutorial then. So I'm showing you the comparison. Super bulky size 6 teddy bear yarn versus regular chunky yarn. It's kind of a thick, super bulky yarn. And so you can very much finger knit with that. And here is my original sleeping lamb pattern. I'm showing you because I want you to see the look using teddy bear fur yarn with regular chunky yarn. So I did change the pattern from the original version. The face is more pointed and smaller, and the primary yarn is going to come up more onto the face. But this is the look right here. I think it's perfect for sheep wool look. It was a beautiful texture. I do my sleeping panda in it. It's very good, resilient yarn for toddlers and babies, I would say. Highly, it's very good yarn. It's real strong, durable. It upholds the look very well. It can be handled very much. And there is a tad bit difference in the size. It is going to come out smaller because we're using super bulky versus chunky, especially chunky size 7. So we're going to start off, and I want to specifically teach on finger knitting with super bulky teddy bear fur yarn. So do not touch the ending tip where it's cut because it will split on you. So I'm not going to treat this as a beginner pattern, but beginner with working with a finger knitting with teddy bear fur yarn. So go ahead and do your slip knot, and we're going to be casting on 12. So do you see, we want to make a loop that can fit about 2 fingers snugged. And the key to finger knitting with super bulky size 6, any brand, even like just regular cotton or polyester, I think it's called, guys, is go slow and knit very tight. You want to knit tight. Now this is our foundation chain. We can go ahead and make these loops relatively not so tight, about 2 fingers snugged. We're casting on 12 here. Doesn't matter if it's chunky size 7 or super bulky size 6. The pattern, follow it as in the PDF. It's broken down. It's cast on 12. And it's a lot of fingertips, and it's like a bonus if you have nails, because you're really going to want to be using your nails in to really grip this yarn when you're knitting it. But go slow. Painstaking here, real patience. So when you cast on 12, we're going to go and count back down. And here's another golden rule trick, is really massage these loops. Really distinguish each loop. And you will feel these loops. So it's teddy bear fur yarn, but it's attached to threading like a rope. You will feel it. And this is very soft yarn too. You'll just feel like the whole distinguish of these loops. So now we're going to go ahead and get it into the round. Which you're going to take your tail through the second stitch to the last. And if you're all familiar with that, just bear with the tutorial, guys. I'm just still going to take you through it kind of like a beginner pattern, but it's specifically focused on finger knitting with smaller yarn. So remember, try not to touch the ending tip and pull it all the way through nice and flushed. Make sure it's not flipped on you. So we're basically treating this yarn like regular chunky yarn. So just kind of look at it as regular chunky yarn. You just gotta knit super tight. And here's where we're gonna be knitting tight now. So foundation chain is nice and evenly flat. Now do you see me shrinking on that? This is like a finger worth right here. So you wanna knit really beneath the joint on your index finger. So go slow, massage, and knit tight. And right here, if you have nails, this is where it's really going to benefit, be super helpful. Because you can be gripping this yarn and pulling it right through. Now watch how I'm knitting. I'm trying to distinguish and keep everything as easy as possible. So every time you pull a loop through, press your hand down on the foundation chain and just kind of keep working around it. Really go slow and just take one loop at a time, every precedent next loop at a time. And just be pulling the working yarn right through, using your nails, your fingertips, going slow. And that is the key right there, is go slow, especially when you're new to it. You will not mess up if you go super slow. So remember, our tail is always connected to stitch 1, aligned on the left side. Our last loop to pull is going to be practically touching it. And now we're going to count around, just like regular chunky yarn. Count around, make sure you have 12. If you don't have 12, undo the work, do it again. And so just a lot of patience, but you will get it, and you will love your finished work because it's going to give it a whole different texture, like if it's crocheted or something, or knitted. Because this is not the usual traditional yarn to use with hands, but it's possible. So this is our second row, and we're going to do a total of 11 rows. So here's row 2, then you're going to do row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows for the body. And remember, just knit tight, think really tight, like a finger worth. Go slow and massage each loop. And if you're doing this pattern with regular chunky yarn, then you should really flow with it. Or if you're using Burnett Frosted loops and threads, fluffy chenille for the first time, it's kind of like the same concept to go slow because it's such fuzzy yarn. It's all blended the seams. So there's my stitch 1, that's row 2 completed. Now we are going to fold our foundation chain. Whenever you get to row 3, we're gonna fold it. And guys, this is like a horrible skein height, guys. Do you see how it's all twisted and twirled, the working yarn? We just gotta work with it here. So I'm going to fold it, treating it just like regular chunky yarn. And go ahead and continue knitting for row 3 all the way up to row 11. And it's row 12, or that's where it's going to be the neck, the new section. I have each section broken down in the PDF. So right here, I'm trying to work with this yarn. You see how it's all twisted and curled? It's not supposed to be like that. So I'm going to chop it off because it's just a little bit too much of a pain. And this is really good to show you right here that when you run out of yarn, you want to connect. So you see that's just not good right there. And to fix it, you just got to untwine it. Let it untwirl itself. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other end. But I also want to show you, because it's all for tutorial sakes, I want to show you, like if you run out of yarn or something, or you want to switch colors, it's the same thing. Just simply take your new yarn, new color, new skein, and tie it on. I don't know about the burn method with this yarn. I've never done it. Or taking a little handheld sewing machine and doing that method. But I do know you can simply tie it with 2 knots, even 1 knot, but let's do 2 knots. Just like that. So do you see how similar, how easy? Like this is like real familiar. It's just like chunky size 7. So let's do 2 knots. Pull nice and tight. Now it's a plushie. You don't have to cut those ends, but I'm going to cut them off because I don't want them to be confusing. And then I'm going to take those ends and save them because I like to use hot glue and poke in the same piece of color scrap yarn, stuff it right there to conceal the glue. And it's a really good extra security measure. So there's that chunky ball. That's stitch 1. This is row 3. Gonna knit around it. Just like regular chunky yarn. And continue like so. So that's it. So those are the 3 keys. Knit tight, like a finger worth. Go super slow. Go super, super slow. And massage to fill each distinguished loop. So you're going to be seeing me in the tutorial massaging a lot. And particularly because the skein with the working yarn was very twirled on me, so I had to massage and really work with it. So that's kind of the downside with this brand, is that it can twirl on you. the working yarn and just kind of make it a little bit hard. Just makes it more tighter. That's pretty much it. You just gotta untwirl it. Let it untwirl itself. Always checking back to my tail, my golden marker as stitch 1. So I want to show you, let's say you forget what row you're on, because it's really easy to forget what row. Simply by dragging your index finger down for each indent and lift your fingertip up a little bit is a new row. So there's our foundation chain. So for each indent, 1, 2, 3. So lots of practice with it right there, but once again, just go slow. That is the main key. And knit tight, like really tight. And that's it. And massage. And just always use your tail as your golden marker so you don't have to keep counting. But there you go, guys. I'm gonna let you go ahead and keep observing. I am gonna jump ahead. I just want to show this is row 4 right here. I'm gonna go ahead and knit a little bit with you and then jump ahead. This is not a beginner pattern, but beginner with teaching it with working with super bulky size 6. So we'll be jumping ahead at this point, and you should have 11 rows. Just pause the video to catch up. But 11 rows. Use your tail to let you know that stitch 1 right there. So now we're going to be decreasing. Now we're on the neck. We're going to be decreasing. Taking 2 loops on the finger and pull the working yarn through. It's the same concept, same thing. You're just working with smaller loops. And knitting way tighter. Now if you notice, I'm pulling these loops a little bit longer where I can fit 2 fingertips snugged, because I don't want to lose these loops. I don't want them to become unknitted, if that is a word. So just kind of pull these loops a little bit longer when you're decreasing. And notice your tail is still aligned. It's still with stitch 1. It's just aligned on the right side of stitch 1. So be aware of that. And now take your tight loops and keep decreasing for the whole row 6 times. And we cast on 12, so we should have 6 loops left. That's why we do an even number. We cast on an even number. And pull these loops where you can fit 2 fingertips snugged, because you don't want to lose these loops. You don't want them to become unknitted, especially with faux fur. That's super bulky size 6 too. That's a little bit different technique. You actually want to pull longer loops with faux fur. I have tutorials on faux fur, guys, if you're interested. That one's a little bit different. I would say that one is the most challenging. But teddy bear fur yarn is not as challenging as that. And it's a really beautiful texture, very resilient. So you should have 6 loops. We decreased the whole row for the neck. 1, make sure you count around, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't want 7, you don't want 5, you want 6. Now that was our neck right there. Checking with my tail, stitch 1, Now we are going to increase. So now we are on the section of the head. It's in the PDF. It's broken down. And we are going to increase. So go ahead and do your increasing for the whole row. You know, increasing, you pull a loop between each loops. And kind of pull these loops a little bit long, especially the increase loops, so you don't lose them. And we want a total of 12. We want our 12 back. And again, just pull these loops a little bit longer. You just want to make sure that you don't lose any. And so you see I just pulled that one out. And this yarn, I had to keep on twirling it, on twining it. And there you go. Other than that, this like what's problematic with each skein, each brand, I would say that it can twirl and twine on you. That's just how it comes. You don't know until you're working with it. Does it really bald in some spots? It's rare, but very little, not really dramatic like regular chunky yarn does. But go ahead and keep pulling, increasing. You want to get all your 12 loops back. There is stitch 1, tail the line to it on the right side. So I know I'm going to be pulling for one more loop and doing one more increase. And this is row 1 for the head. And so we're going to be doing a total of 6 rows on our primary. So go ahead and count around. Make sure you have 12. You want exactly 12, your exact cast on. And that was row 1. Now we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 more rows in your primary. And then we're going to be switching over to our secondary, our skin tone color. And that's when we're going to do 3 more rows, but the pattern's going to change just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead. You want 6 rows in primary. Just pause the video to catch up. Okay, so once we get on the 7th row, we're going to go ahead and cut off a small tail, and we're going to tie on our secondary skin tone color. I'm using Perfect Phasing. It's from one of our group members. It's all in the PDF to purchase this Perfect Phasing. It's pretty much duplicate to Joanne's Burnett Perfect Phasing. This is the golden color, the lightest shade I'm using. Oh, this is kind of more like the medium tone I'm using. I'm tying on 2 knots here. I'm going to go ahead and cut off those ends. I usually just leave the ends on, but I'm going to go and just cut them off so it's not confusing. And then I'm going to save those pieces right there. Now this is row 7. And we're going to go ahead and knit all around. Now we're using regular chunky yarn, so you should definitely just flow with it. You're going to knit around that knot. This is very easy yarn to work with, and it's so buttery soft. It's got a beautiful fuzzy quality to it. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So again, this is row 7. You're just going to go ahead and knit all the way around. And row 8 is where the pattern is going to change. And then row 9, and then cast off. That's it. So very basic, easy pattern. I want to go ahead and just give instructions on working with a super bulky size 6 teddy bear fur yarn. So any kind of like teddy bear fuzzy smaller yarn. Not working with faux fur, but working with like the fuzzy yarn that's smaller, or even working with like smaller thin cotton yarn, polyester yarn. So there is my tail. That was row 7. So now row 8 is where we're going to decrease all the way around, just like you did the neck. So we have 12 loops. You're going to take it down to 6. So it's just like the neck section. Go ahead and row 8. Go ahead and start decreasing. And it should be really easy. Just go and flow with it. Make sure you're knitting tight. Keep it as tight as possible. I believe knitting tight is like the number one factor when it comes to plushies making. And then my other biggest factor, in my opinion and experience, is stuffing. A very, very good stuffing. So those are 2 factors. That's what I'm always trying to emphasize. And if you're working with super bulky size 6, doesn't matter what yarn, specific brand, specific type, you want to knit tight. So we should have 6 loops, just like the neck. We decreased all the way around. That was row 8. Now row 9, you are going to knit. Just simply knit and done, guys. That's it. And then cut a couple of inches tail to do your enclosing. So I'm going to go ahead and work with you guys right here. I'm going to knit row 9, 6 loops. And there you go. Should be looking something like this. A real funny shape almost. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of inches tail. I'm giving a visual of how far I go down about the neckline. That's it. That's for my enclosing. On top, weave the tail from inside out or outside in. Just weave the tail through all 6 loops. Nice, good enclose. And now I'm going to show you on how to close using teddy bear fur yarn for the bottom. And it's really easy. Same concept. We're going to be weaving this tail throughout the foundation chain, and just don't touch the tip where we cut, because this yarn has a tendency to split. So do you see where I'm grabbing it? So all super bulky teddy bear fur yarn, faux fur, velvet, it all splits if you mess with that part where you cut. Now here's the beautiful thing with this yarn. It does an effective enclose. You don't have to go through all the loops to have a beautiful enclose. And you see I'm going through like 2 loops. I can even go through 3, 4 loops and then pull. It is such a beautiful enclose. So it's like a slippery yarn. It really encloses very, very well. And so it should really be a good enclose, no gap, having to mess with that, deal with that. It's going to enclose nice and tight for you, nice and snugged, where you're not even going to know where the previous opening was. And just like that, guys, really easy. So here is mine. I don't even know where the previous opening is, but just like chunky chenille yarn, it's forgiving. You just poke this tail into any bottom part. I'm just gonna try to fill for it though here, because I want to keep it neat. And I do find it's real nice and tight. And I'm going to go ahead and poke in my tail. You can use a knot or 2 knots, as many knots as you want. But I'm going to use hot glue wherever I poke in my tails. I do this in all my tutorials. My toddlers taught me extra security. And you'll never know glue is right there, because I'm going to put the same piece of color scrap yarn and it completely conceals it. Here is our bottom. We want it nice and flat relatively. And here is our top. We want to really stuff it well.